Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about fixing some of the flooding we've had around the ranch. And I'll show some videos just to start us off so that y'all understand what we've been dealing with. But ever since we bought this property, that's been about 3 years now, we've had massive issues with flooding. And one of the main issues is that we are in a slight, ever so slightly incline, less than a degree. But all the water comes from a very flat area into our property, and then our property sort of settles out and it can stays just on our little area and slowly drains. Well, the problem with that is it drains down our road, which washes away our road and causes all sorts of issues. So we've sort of worked over the years on some stuff. One of them being is this ditch that's behind me. When we first did it, we made it rather small. It was just to see if it would work, but also we didn't have the capability to do as big as we did here. We really just had shovels, not even a tractor when we first tried it. But I want to go over what we're doing to help with this. First, I'll show you some of the videos of that flooding that I've been talking about, just so you get the gist of it. Once again, it's been washing away our road. I'll also throw in something that shows right after we finished the cabin pylons how bad it was and how much it just stayed there. So enjoy some of these videos, and we'll be right back. All right, so as you can see in those videos, the damage from the flooding has been um, a lot. And thankfully, our road that we put in when we first, probably a year after we bought the property, has stood the test of time. However, it slowly pushes the water down our road and has been eroding our road to where now we have grass on the road. And we don't want to lose what we have left because it wasn't a super cheap road. And we want to keep what we have so that we can keep it going, repair it, and so forth. But on to the solutions. And one of the solutions is this ditch that you see right here, slash berm. And the idea behind it is, one, obviously, it creates this little valley that the water flows into and then pushes down into further down our land where it's not flooding the house and the road. Hopefully, down the road, what I would like to do is push the water into some sort of tank or pond that we're able to hold water in, whether it's to help the cattle, or I have the idea of turning that into a swimming tank, which is a whole nother project that I would love to do down the road. But for now, just pushing it away from the road and away from the house that is right over to my left, and that way it doesn't keep flooding that area. This is our first line of defense. And once again, we have this little valley just to help grab the water and then divert it the way that we want it. But also we put the dirt along here for a berm. And eventually what I would like to do is put some plants, whether it be a pecan tree, which this is probably too big for a pecan, or too small for a pecan tree, or fruit tree, whatever it may be, something that is producing, preferably, but will create a root system in this berm so that over time the berm stays there and doesn't wash away. Because our previous berm, it did all right, but it kept washing away because every time the rain came, it washed back into this valley and simply was pushed away to where it was basically flat within a couple years. So hopefully eventually we'll be able to put some bushes, some trees, whatever it may be, to help strengthen this berm, and over time we can create it, or we can continue making it larger and larger, and hopefully this will one day just be a green strip with a little berm right here, and it won't be too obvious whenever you pull up to the ranch. But for now, that's what we're working with. It's a good start, and hopefully it'll at least wash or help with the floods within the next year until we get some more something more solid to hold it in place. Next, we'll talk about the trench, and it's along our road headed into the property, and why we need that so badly.
Oh yeah, I'm a dumper.
How deep are you going?
Digging to China. Screw it.
All right, so from that video that y'all just saw of us screwing around trying to learn how to use an excavator, this is the trench that we were working on. And it goes down probably several hundred yards, and you can't see where it bends, but the idea behind that is where that berm is, what the issue was, is it would come over that berm, or when we didn't have the berm, come straight across, and it would go down this road, and it would swap back and forth. And hopefully with the trench, what we'll be able to do is catch that water and start diverting it from the beginning to where it doesn't bother it, and it goes down and turns out of our property into a property that nobody's there. That way we can continue it and it won't affect our road. And you can see areas right here where the grass is already popping up. This is an area that the water has been flowing over, and you can tell from that video that I played earlier where it just goes down this road and swaps back and forth and slowly has been destroying this road. Hopefully with this berm and trench that we had dug, the idea is to hopefully push it, divert it, and continue it down that path. Now this is behind that berm that I just showed y'all, so it will be sort of a secondary. That is a primary, hopefully to push it away, but if it makes it past that, because the berm does not go all the way down and cover the whole house, this will hopefully divert the water out and about. Now, this will take some time because this trench at least should work hopefully right away and not fill in. But as I mentioned, the berm, we won't really tell till we get some heavy rain a couple times. Thankfully it doesn't rain that massively too often here, but when it does, it's 4 inches or more, which is a lot for this area, and it just stays in our property for way too long, messes with the garden we've got going, and also floods our little area. Before we had a road, I'll try and find the video and post it if I can, but we were working down here, just my dad and I, and thankfully the truck didn't get stuck because we didn't even have a road, but I was in my wife's CRV, and I would try to make it just these few hundred yards, and I would get stuck just because it just gets so gunky so quickly. So thankfully with this road, that's not really an issue. However, if we have buddies bring RVs and they need to back into an area, they can't do that because it just sits and soaks up and just stays there to the point where it stays super gunky. Hopefully with what we're doing here, and I'll try and get some video if I'm ever down here, this will help process the water in a way that we need it to go, and we won't lose our road, won't have to deal with flooding whenever we're down here, but we'll see. So I probably won't give you an update on this, but I wanted to sort of show people what we've been doing down here, just sort of process the whole house, property, whatever you want to call it, whether it be the cabin, the garden, or the water issue that we have. I think it's cool just to document as we go along. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me talk about trenches and berms, which if you're weird like me, cool. But I hope to have some bigger projects based off of this design that we're doing here, whether it be the tank that's just for watering the land and cows, or turning into a swimming tank down the road. This is sort of the start that I wanted to document. Anyways, y'all have a great day, and I'll see you next video.